Hey guys, it's Sam here. Hope you're doing well. Let's talk about Disney, the company that's shaped all of our lives. Don't care if you say you're not a huge fan of theirs. You've all at one point wanted to go to Disneyland and buy one of those Mickey ears for $7. Yes, they're $7. They got us hook, line, and sinker, my boys and girls. I love most, if not all, of their movies, but when you take a closer look, Disney may have messed up a few lessons along the way. Most of their classic stories are from fairy tales that Disney's kind of sanitized for a more family-friendly audience. While I do enjoy these movies, it's worth showing you what the original story was meant to teach audiences. Here are my top 5 true tales behind your favorite Disney movies. Start with number 5, Pinocchio. The general lesson from Pinocchio is to listen to your conscience. While in the film, that takes the form of Jiminy Cricket, similarly in the book by Carlo Collodi, a cricket approaches the puppet-turned-boy to help him along the way. However, Pinocchio immediately kills the cricket with a hammer, just smashes him. He doesn't even take responsibility for it either. Pinocchio doesn't take responsibility for any of his actions, and he pays the price dearly. He has his feet burned off, he's hanged, and the cricket even comes back to life to try to take revenge, and tries to kill him with a hammer, but chooses to spare his life. The moral being that while there is time for fun and games, you'll have to grow up eventually, and for Pinocchio, that meant helping Geppetto out, the man who brought him to life. The least he could do, you little shit. Number 4, Cinderella. While the story of Cinderella is fairly similar to the original Brothers Grimm storyline, there's a few changes when it comes to the evil stepsisters and just how evil they were. You're familiar with the portion of the story where the stepsisters try to jam their feet into the slippers to become queen. Well, it sort of went like that in the story, but it's more like they chopped off their toes so that they could actually fit in the shoes. Don't worry though, their thinking was when they're queens, they wouldn't need to walk anymore. They could get someone else to do that for them. Well, bummer folks. There's a little spoiler warning. The prince did notice that there was blood coming out of the slippers pretty quick and eventually found Cinderella. Don't worry though, our favorite stepsisters were invited to the wedding where birds pecked out their eyes. Number 3, The Little Mermaid. This is a popular story that has been pointed out by many for its drastic changes from the original source material to the film. But what are those changes exactly? Well, from what I've gathered in my research, one of the big reasons, besides true love, for wanting to marry the prince is because this is how mermaids gain an eternal soul. Strange, but alright, let's keep going. So in order to get the prince, the Little Mermaid makes a deal with the sea witch that takes away her tongue and gives her human legs, but also be one of the greatest dancers of all time. Cool perk, with the one caveat that every step will feel like broken glasses being shoved into her feet. Cool. You know the story. Girl loves boy, boy meets girl, and then meets a different girl, and then falls in love with this different girl, and they get married, and then the Little Mermaid's left to die alone. Oops. Yep, that's how it goes. Oops, oops. Also, one of the other caveats of the deal with the witch stated that the Little Mermaid would die and turn to sea foam the day after the prince got married to someone else. Don't worry though, the Little Mermaid's sisters traded their hair to the sea witch for a dagger that, if used to kill the prince, would give the Little Mermaid back her fins and she wouldn't have to die. However, she couldn't bring herself to do it and she sacrifices herself to the sea, becoming sea foam. The story doesn't end there though, no. She becomes a guardian wind angel of sorts, and for the next 300 years goes out to perform good deeds to possibly one day earn a soul. That's a big maybe on that soul part though. She could just fade back into sea foam. So while the sea witch isn't the best, the real enemy of the story is unconditional love. Anywho, number 2, Little Red Riding Hood. Now, my main gripe with this story is about the lesson, which in the Disneyfied version totally throws out the moral of the story. In the original story, there is no huntsman that comes to save the day. Also, it's hinted to that Red Riding Hood knows that this is a wolf, because she's not totally stupid. She can actually use her eyeballs and see that that is a wolf, but she actually decides to get in bed with the wolf. This is where she gets eaten, and that's the end of the story. It's sad and weird, right? Well, the point of it is to teach people that we all at times like to play with dangerous things or taunt danger. We think that could never happen to me, but when bad things do happen in the news and on TV, those could all happen to us, and we just have to be as careful as we possibly can, right? Don't live in fear, but be smart. There's not going to be a huntsman that swoops in and fixes all of our problems. Also, we could get into the toxic gender roles that is set up in this story that have kind of been ingrained in all of our brains from a very young age, but that could be a whole different video. Let's keep going. To number 1, the worst offender, Pocahontas. This was one of my favorite stories growing up, from the music to the colors to animal companions. What's not to love? Except all of it. All of this isn't true whatsoever. Let's kick it off with Pocahontas being 9 or 10 when John Smith arrived to America. Gross. Doesn't get better from there though. John Smith was never saved by Pocahontas according to the oral history of her tribe. John Smith actually lied about numerous things that Pocahontas did for him, like sneaking him food or warning the colonists of an attack. None of this happened, and that even can be corroborated by Smith's own letters that were published without him being aware. Eventually, Pocahontas did marry one of the younger brothers of one of the chieftains of the Potawatomi tribe and became pregnant, but was forced to give up the baby when she was traded to the colonists. And traded should be in air quotes here because it kind of means forcibly taken by the tribe. They would kind of hold a gun to your head and they called it trading. She was kidnapped and taken to England. On the way, she was possibly sexually assaulted or raped by multiple people and became pregnant again. She eventually was forced to convert to Christianity and had to take the name Rebecca. I don't remember any of this in Color of the Winds, I'll be honest. I think it's fair to say that we might need to throw away our Pocahontas DVDs because this is just awful. But hey, there is a lot more out there that Disney's ruined. Let me know your favorites in the comments down below, but make sure you check out Gamma Ray for more videos. And hey, I'm Sam Basher. I'll see you next time.